we got to start talking about those Oilers.
Oh,
Oh,
Max,
what
you
was
were
that against the Jets on Wednesday night? We talked about how more than ever defense could be their downfall. That is my second overreaction of the day. I am done after that. This is my second overreaction of the day. That defense, Daph, is worse than I thought it was going to be. It is thin. It is not good. And I feel like last year we had gotten to a point where, yes, Connor and Leon had to carry the Oilers. They are two of the best players in the world. Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. It is normal for him to carry his team, but the burden was lighter for him, I felt, last year. We are back to this being, to me, how far can this offense take them? That is my second overreaction. That defense is horrendous.
you were right to worry about it, Max. Like it was people, I mean, people were leaving the game. People were leaving the game. And Edmonton Journal, the title was Opening Nightmare, just one game or a warning sign for the Edmonton Oilers. Is this going to be a repeat of last October for the notoriously slow starting Oilers? And that's interesting because remember last year, Max,
Oh, it was
8-1
horrendous.
loss to the Canucks to start the season. And they've been repeating on how they want to like focus on here and now, but you have to make some adjustment and quickly because it's gonna be a big year. And for me, like what's scary also is like there are people, like not people, teams are gonna be pointing out at the Oilers games. Like they are the team to beat this year. And they are well aware that, that they're going to be eagerly awaited this season. How can they pass on from that? How can they improve? And it's hard when you're the team to beat. It's not going to be the same season as last year.
Well, last year they went through hell and high water. They came back from the bottom of the league. They can do that. You know what? One of my take was that what could be a one of the reason I'm not, because McDavid has almost been winning the Hart Trophy every other year so far in his career since entering.
Yeah.
There was like a 3-year gap between the first and the second, I think, and then a 1-year gap between the second and the third, and now could win it. One of the reason I didn't think McDavid was going to win it this year is I felt like the Oilers were going to be at the top of the division all year, and they could slow his pace down, make sure he comes into the playoff really well rested. I hope they don't have to fight suddenly because this is going to be tough. This is going to be tougher than I expected.
That's why I'm saying that this is what worries me about them. It's like it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a tough one. And you've been all the way last season, like there's tiring also. We all know that teams that are going like to the finals are just like not as good the year after, or just like there's
Yeah.
tiring. So, and you were talking also about like Stuart Skinner, and we know like he can rebound from a bad game, but can he be steady? That's also kind of what worries me. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have a good defense,
You need a
then
goalie.
better have like, yeah,
You
better
need a
have a
goalie.
steady goalie.
Yeah, and my respect to Mr. Picard, but it's not like they have Linus Olmark and Jeremy Swayman in front of the net or something like this, or even Anthony Stolarz last year was stellar for the Panthers when they were giving Mr. Bobrovsky a night off. But you know what? We got to give credit to the Jets. We were questioning the Jets in our first episode, and this team is well coached. This team is well coached. It is not a sexy team in terms of having the biggest stars. They're not the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're not the Edmonton Oilers. They're not even the Colorado Avalanche. And what they did, 6-0 win. Connor Hellebuck looked ready for an encore. You know what would be crazy? In in the salary cap era goalies, so well, obviously for argument's sake, I have no choice but to exclude Martin Brodeur. But to me, Martin Brodeur is a pre-cap goalie. He played in the salary cap era, although you could argue he won all of his Vezinas in the salary cap era. Yeah, maybe it's not that good of a point I was going to make. Anyways, apart from Martin Brodeur, one of the goated goalies, no goalie in the salary cap era has more than 2 Vezinas. Because even great, Henrik Lundqvist has one. Carey Price has one. Bobby Lou has none. To me, this is still one of the biggest slight in NHL modern history. Bobby Lou, Roberto Luongo having no Vezina. Marc-Andre Fleury has one. He has won it at the tail end of his career in Vegas in the shortened season. Connor Hellebuyck could go for 3.
Too?
Flower? No.
Okay.
No. I said in the first episode, for those who were there, I'm a goalie guy, and Marc-Andre Fleury is my boy. Marc-Andre Fleury is my boy. This is why he is behind me right here, along with Carey Price. These are my 2 favorite players all time. Marc-Andre Fleury is my boy. With that being said, he is my boy for childish reasons. I love him, but to me, the top 3 of the era is Lundqvist, Luongo, and Price. He's behind those guys. Marc-Andre Fleury benefited from amazing teams in Pittsburgh. He is a great goalie. He's an amazing goalie. He's an Hall of Famer in my book. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. If anybody could have won 2, to me, it's either Price or Lundqvist, honestly. And even Bobby Lou, who has none.
And like, contrary to Fleury, like, Price didn't have good enough team in front of him. So
yeah, exactly. That's why he had an MVP.
Yeah.
Anyways, all this to say that Hellebuyck could go for 3, which would become the only second goalie in the cap era after Brodeur. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go verify, but Brodeur is the only goalie in the cap era with more than 2 Vezinas.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, because Bobrovsky has 2, Hellebuyck now has 2, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Can you feel like, so we've maybe underestimated, and it's just one game. I mean, we're not going to look back at this game, and it's not going to be like the scenario of the season, but we've truly maybe underestimated the Jets. And can the Jets, like we talked about how the Canucks last year, a lot of players had years, and can it be maybe the situation for Winnipeg this year? And if it is, like, if it's, like, all well balanced with Hellebuyck, can they surprise us?
Oh, they can. They can. For me, for the Jets, it's all about what are they going to do at the deadline. I love last year's acquisition of Monahan, of Toffoli. They didn't bring him back, but these were acquisition at the moment that I liked. So if they do these type of acquisition again, it definitely is something that could help. Shout out to the Jets, who proved us wrong in their first game.